we could never have imagined in all our lives. So many challenges, so many things where people have had to create a new way of living, a new way of thinking. We've all, here at City Hall, here in the city government, we've tried to give you guidance. We've tried to give you all the information we have to help you through this. But I know for all of you, for every New Yorker, for all of us, it has been a really challenging process trying to figure out our own approach, every single one of us, every single family, our own approach to this crisis, a crisis that nothing like this has happened in a century in this country. And we're all trying our best to find the right way to handle it, to help our families, to help each other, to help our communities, to help protect ourselves. And I think one of the most challenging parts of all this has been that there's so much we all don't know. And it has been very frustrating for all of us to not know more, to wish we could know more, to wish the scientific community, the medical community, anyone, anywhere had all the answers, and yet we know that's still not the case. We have learned a lot from fighting this virus right here in New York City. We've learned a lot about what New Yorkers are capable of to support each other and to rise to new heights. We've learned a lot about what works. We've certainly seen the power of social distancing and shelter in place. But there are so many things we still don't know, and so many things that very personally, very humanly gnaw at us because we don't know, and we want to know. Very immediate questions. Most obvious, I ask it myself, my family asks it, have I already had the coronavirus and I didn't even know it? Have I been exposed to it? All of us are asking this question. Have we somehow contracted this virus already? Have we in some way exposed other people to it? We don't know. And that is the reality of this phase we're in right now, where this disease is widespread, where we have had community transmission now for weeks and weeks. And we haven't had the thing that would really be the difference maker, and that's testing, obviously, on a really broad scale. That would help us all to have a lot more answers. That's been the reality we've been living through the months of March and April. It's not an acceptable reality for any of us. It's been what we've had to make sense of somehow. And again, I credit all of you. You found the best way you could to deal with a situation where there's just not enough answers. But I want to remind us all, I want everyone to take hope from the notion it does not have to be this way. It does not have to be this way going forward. We can change this situation. We can actually provide a lot more answers if we get the help we need to do it. And then we use the extraordinary capacity and ingenuity of New Yorkers to follow through. When we have that testing, a whole world of possibilities is going to open up. We're going to be able to give people a lot more answers. And it's going to help us not only to have more comfort, knowing that we know a lot more about what we've experienced, what our families experienced, it's going to give us more power to push on to the next phase, to push back this disease and make things better for all of us. We need to be able to envision that next phase, that new reality where things really do start to get better. And it's someplace that will take real work, obviously. But we can get there. We will get there. My promise to you is that I will keep pushing us forward. I will do everything in my power. This entire city government will do everything in our power to get us out of this phase we're in and onto something better as quickly as possible. We need to do the work now to be able to make that next big jump. So today I'm going to give you an update on the testing, the approach to testing, the approach to tracing, the contacts, all of the things that will take us to that next level. Today I'm going to give you the shape of what it's going to look like. Broad strokes, but enough for you to start understanding and feeling the way forward. And I remind you that we talked a few days ago about those phases of this disease. I'm going to go over those again for a moment. Right now, we're in the widespread transmission phase. This is not a place we're going to stay. Obviously, we can't accept this reality. We're going to fight our way out of it. The next phase is called low-level transmission. Now, to get to low-level transmission and to hold on to it, you need a huge amount of testing. Not just tens of thousands of tests per day, as many as hundreds of thousands of tests per day for a city of 8.6 million people. But when you have that kind of testing, when you have it available whenever it's needed for whoever needs it, then you're also able to do a lot of the other things that continue to contract this disease and make sure that people are protected. So when you find that someone has tested positive, you're in a position to isolate them, to quarantine them, to trace all the people that they came in contact with who might have gotten the disease from them, the people they came in close contact with, and then help all those people as well. So we have to be ready to push into that phase, that low-level transmission phase that we all want to get to. We have to have all the building blocks in place. Even while we're fighting to get the testing we need, we have to have the building blocks in place, and that's what we're announcing today. So the plan is called Test and Trace. And it's a very straightforward concept. It's what you have deserved all along. Had there been the testing from day one, this is what we could have done so much more of in the very beginning to contain this disease. But now, this is how we ultimately defeat this disease. You need to be protected every day. You deserve that as a New Yorker. You need to be protected. You need to know help is there for you. You need to feel that sense of protection. Testing is going to allow us to do that. And you need that test to be easy to get. So it has to be plentiful, and then it's our job to make it available in communities all over the city in lots of different ways, so it's easy for people to access. We're not there yet, but we're going to show you how we get there, pending being able, of course, to get the help we still need from the federal government to get that vast amount of testing, or somehow to find it in the international market, which to date has been extremely difficult, but we're going to keep looking under every stone to get the quantity of testing we need. So the testing will be the key, but I want to give you the sense of the whole plan, because you deserve that too. You need to know, you deserve to know, if something happens to you, what is going to be the reality of how we'll help all the people in your life. How is it going to affect the rest of your family? What kind of support are they going to get? Or the people that you come in contact with, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, whatever it is, we're going to lay this out to you. Now, even though we don't have the testing that we need today, we're going to keep fighting for it, and we want all the other building blocks to be in place more and more each day. So as the testing comes in, we can plug it in and get all these pieces working together. So we have made some progress on testing, as I announced a few days ago. We found one company in the entire world, one company, that is providing us now a steady supply of test kits. It's not a huge amount, but it's really helpful. And in the beginning of May, we'll be creating our own, manufacturing our own here in New York City. Huge breakthrough. It's going to help a lot. Every additional test we get helps someone to be safe. But we want to find a way to expand that production as much as we can locally while finding every other source around the world, and especially getting that federal help we need. And that demand has to continue every day, because the one place that could really create the breakthrough is the federal government. They still haven't done it. So we will then need, once we have more and more tests, more and more sites to do the testing. And we're identifying public sites, public buildings all over the city that will be turned into those test sites. And they'll be ready to be turned on very quickly. So we do believe, because we're seeing progress from everything all of you are doing, social distancing, the shelter in place, everything you're doing is making a difference. We believe every day it's getting us closer to the point where having that testing, having the ability to follow through in each case becomes more and more possible, because as the numbers are driven down, then the notion of literally tracing each and every case through, knowing every one anyone the individual came in contact with closely and helping all those people, every day the number of cases declines, that possibility of doing that really completely becomes greater. But we also know we're not there yet in terms of our overall indicators, what we show you every day. We'll talk about them again in a few minutes. We still have work to do, but we definitely see progress, and that makes this plan all the more necessary. Now, two concepts here, as I said, test and trace. So testing, widely available. Here's how the plan would go. It's widely available, plenty of sites, plenty of tests. So what happens to you if you go to a test site? Well, if you test negative, that's great. And of course, you'll get instructions about how to continue to protect yourself, because even a negative test doesn't mean you're out of the woods forever. It means, thank God, that day you don't have the coronavirus. And we'll remind you of all the things to do to continue the smart precautions to protect yourself, your family, and help drive this disease back. But if you test positive, then we get you care right away. If you can't isolate properly at home, and that's a lot of New Yorkers that just don't have the right space in their homes and their apartments. If you can't isolate at home properly, we'll get you a hotel room. We'll get you the help you need. The whole idea is to help you to isolate, to get well, to have the support you need, and of course get tested again to know when you're done with the disease so you can go back to your regular life. Making sure that that is available, that support is available for each and every New Yorker who needs it. That's what this plan is all about, and that's the building blocks we're putting in place now. The hotel rooms and all the support that goes with it. Now, the tracing is literally hunting down each and every case, every individual who contracts this disease, following up with them and making sure that they're interviewed about the people in their life they've been in close contact with in the previous days, and then following up with those people. And it's the same thing, just continue following it all the way through. If you were in close contact with your cousin, then we're going to go see your cousin. We want your cousin to get tested. Then we want to see if your cousin tests positive. Who were they in close contact with? And just keep following it through every single time to make sure that everyone who needs that test gets it, everyone who then, because they get a positive, needs care, gets it. Imagine it just happening over and over again, and that's how we constrict this disease. We obviously help people, most importantly, help people to know what's going on with their own body, their own health, and get them the help they need to get well. Job one. But it's also how we just drive the disease back day after day. We have to keep doing it. It's very repetitive if you think about it. We have to keep doing it to the point where, in a perfect world, we literally can see every single person in the city who has the coronavirus at that time, and we know exactly where they are and exactly the help they're getting. That's where we have to go to the maximum extent humanly possible. Now, the kind of care that you will need, let's go through an example if you do test positive. Here's a real scenario. Well, we want to take care of you. As I said, job one, take care of you. Get you the care you need. Get you the isolation, the quarantine you need. So you want to know the second you get a positive test, what do I do next? Where am I going to get medical care? How am I going to make sure I get better? How am I going to make sure my family isn't infected because I have the disease? That's what we work with immediately. We get you to, you don't have, again, a place you can isolate properly at home. We get you to a hotel. We put that care in place and that support in place. Then that interview immediately, who have you been in close contact with in recent days? And each and every one of us would say, okay, well, I was either around my family members, my friends, someone I worked with, someone who's a neighbor. Go through that whole list. Go and then literally follow up with each and every one of those people. Get them tested. Anyone who's negative, great. We still will give them the information to help them take care of themselves. But if anyone's positive, if your friend, for example, who you just spent time with the day before is positive, then we get your friend to the care they need, to the isolation they need, and the support. And we take and interview that friend and go through those contracts.